Yes. What do you see as the alternative to the EU as a project? What would you view as an acceptable alternative to that?
Well, there are several ways possible. The most important to our opinion is that we can have bilateral treaties with every other country we are trading with, as we had before. The European Union is no natural law. You see, the world has existed without the European Union for I don't know how many centuries and thousands of years, and this is no must. So we can have normal cooperation with all the other countries in the world. We could also eventually think of joining the EFTA instead of the EU, the European Free Trade Organization. Switzerland is the main country there, and they do all their international, worldwide export business with the help of the EFTA. So this would, especially for Austria, be a very feasible way. We are a neighboring country of Switzerland. We have a very similar geography, and we speak the same language. So I think this could be a way too, to join the EFTA for helping the international trade element. But the EFTA is no political organization like the EU, and it won't dominate the people in every aspect of their daily life. And also agriculture is no part of the European Free Trade Organization, which is very important, so that small countries can remain their farming industry and farming people. So this would be much better than stay in the European Union.
Okay, Inge.
Yeah.
Obviously, neutrality is an area that's very important to the Irish people, and it would also be our understanding, you'd know that the Austrian people would very much value and always have valued their neutrality. Do you see the EU project as posing a serious threat to that neutrality?
Of course, the EU project is the end of neutrality. It is the EU altogether which is the end, but the Lisbon Treaty much worse, because in the Lisbon Treaty it is regulated that there will be a common foreign policy for all EU member states, and there will be one Minister of Foreign Affairs for all the EU member states. When the whole foreign policy is made centralized for all EU states in one project, then it is impossible that two states like Ireland and Austria can remain neutral. You see, neutrality is an attitude which is part of foreign policy. And if foreign policy is directed from one point for all of the EU countries, and this is stated in the Lisbon Treaty, then there cannot be any neutrality left for anybody. So this is a great concern for us, and I think for Irish people too. And it is completely wrong what is being told, that the EU is a project for peace. It isn't. The EU countries are involved in dreadful wars all over the world. Think of Afghanistan, think of Iraq, and so forth. The Kosovo in Yugoslavia was a NATO war. And of the 27 EU countries, I think 21 are NATO members too. And NATO policy and EU policy is combined all together. So you cannot separate this. And this is one of the main reasons why we can only hope that the Lisbon Treaty will be rejected in Ireland for the second time.
Absolutely. And maybe just, if you like, an extension of that question. Of course, the European Defence Agency is another body of which a lot of ordinary people would maybe not be aware. That is given an institutional role under the terms of the Lisbon Treaty. Do you see that as another sinister development?
Of course, yes. And it also, there is an obligation for permanent increase, qualitatively and quantitatively, of the military apparatus. It is unbelievable that in a constitution, and the Lisbon Treaty is a constitution, it makes the EU a state. There is no country in the world where in the constitution of the country an obligation for militarization is part. This is unheard of in any other constitution of the world. And this is one of the main points, I think, in this project.
What do you feel is the the purpose of such provisions, this building of military power, to what purpose do you think that will be put to? What is the thinking behind it? What is the policy or the ideology which underpins that?
We cannot know, of course. This is strategic planning from the big powers. But I think the EU will in any way follow American, US policy in this respect, and we can see this every day. And this cannot be a good development because the United States have taken part or produced more than 300 wars in the world since 1945. This is a dreadful figure, if you think. So this will go on. There is danger now making war in the Iran. We don't know. What we can hear in the media now sounds very dangerous. So there will be wars nearly every year. And why? What for EU members? Do we want to make war as people? We want to have peace with everybody. But this cannot be done with this system. So we have to escape it, sooner or later.
What would you see as the main ideology, if you like, that underpins the EU project? Is it, as you were talking earlier on, is it very much a neoliberal economic agenda, one where the rights of ordinary people are very much subservient to the needs of, capital, as they call the movement of goods and services and capital and so on? Would you see that as very much at the heart of what the EU project is about?
This is not very easy to answer to my mind. There are opinions that the EU, ideologically speaking, is somewhat like the former Soviet Union. You see, the names are very similar. Commissioners, this was the same name in Moscow, in the Soviet Union, and also the whole structure of governing everything, ruling everything in our daily life. This is a communist attitude, isn't it? And there is an elitist structure in the EU. Only the commissioners and only the chiefs of the national governments, they make the decisions, and nobody else. The parliaments, they have no rights, neither in the EU parliament nor the national parliaments. So it is only a very small ruling class. And this was very similar in the Soviet Union too. On the other hand, the capitalist system, worldwide capitalism, is there as well. So to our mind, it is a combination of these two systems.
It could be true maybe to say that to a degree you're getting the worst elements of both systems.
Of both systems, yes. This is the best explanation for this. You cannot, streamline it only on one edge of the coin.
Yes, you're getting the political control of the old Soviet Union combined with the neoliberal extreme capitalism of the
and I also feel that there is a point where the both systems meet anyway, in the practical effect.
Okay. I suppose just coming towards the end of the interview, have you any intentions to travel to Ireland to take part in the referendum campaign?
Yes, these intentions are there, and we are very much looking forward to this. Together with Professor Schachschneider, I will have the honor to visit Ireland in the next 2 weeks, I think, and I'm very prepared to talk to everybody there and to find friends there and to find cooperation from people to people, and not, on the highest level. There was Elfenbeiner Turm. What's that?
Ivory Tower.
In an ivory tower, we want to be together with the people themselves and to talk with them in their region, in their area where they live, and to learn from Ireland what is the situation in Ireland for the people, for nature and for the elements. You have the big sea around you, so that's something we don't have here.